Good afternoon. Thank you, Barry and Kathy, for inviting me to speak here today about what I think is an extremely important topic and one that we can all relate to. As the sixth largest bank in the United States and a large employer in Virginia, PNC has made a substantial commitment to quality early childhood education. It's a long-lasting investment in our children, our society, and in the health of our economy for generations to come. We've invested our time, our money, and our resources in supporting quality early childhood education because of the ROI, the return on investment that's clearly there. A cradle-to-career investment in children at the earliest years makes good economic sense and plants the seeds for a future dynamic workforce. A recently released study by Nobel laureate economist James Heckman makes the economic case very clearly. The study shows that starting with early, high-quality programs for disadvantaged children, that it pays off. Quality early learning produces and boosts IQ results, and it helps develop those important social emotional skills that are necessary for kids to be successful in those early years. According to Heckman, providing health, early learning, and care from birth provides a 13% return on investment. Now, as a banker and a business person speaking to some business people in the audience, I could tell you that getting a 13% return per child per year are formidable numbers. They're not numbers that you can get in just anywhere else. And so to invest in early childhood education makes a tremendous amount of sense. And as with most investment opportunities, starting early matters. Policymakers get more for their money by starting at birth. Research shows that children without access to a quality early learning environment are behind in preschool, behind their peers. So imagine from day one, the achievement gap is already apparent. Another key finding from the research is that children receiving early learning and childcare have significantly better outcomes. And you might ask the question, why is this? Well, there's no cognitive learning fade out. So that exposure to an early learning environment provides an opportunity to negate learning loss for the long term. More than 15 years ago, the employees at PNC participated in a survey, and the question that was asked is, in what one philanthropic area could we focus a significant portion of our resources? And children education were top priorities in that survey, set of survey results. And they were for the reasons that I've outlined already. Great long-term returns. It was important to our employees to make sure that we had a long-term impact. The impact of that investing means that the trajectory of a child's life positively is impacted for the long term for that child's life. And as a corporation, we found great power in being a non-traditional advocate for early childhood education. So we've made a difference in speaking out in favor of investing in quality early childhood education, and that program for us is called PNC Grow Up Great. PNC Grow Up Great is a multi-year, $500 million, that's with a B, $500 million commitment that we've made to provide direct and indirect financial support in service of this vital imperative. Whether in front of a group of business community leaders, policymakers, or other key stakeholders, PNC Grow Up Great is part of who we are as a company and how we go to market. So the bottom line is that we're bankers, we're not educators. And so it's been incumbent upon us from day one to find good, strong experts to ground our thinking and to ground our investment in this space. And we've been lucky to be able to partner with the Sesame Workshop and the Fred Rogers Company. And it's truly been an amazing experience to work with these folks. As a company, though, we're investing more than just our dollars. We're also investing in our employees and encouraging them not only to volunteer at early childhood education locations, but also volunteer during work hours. Our employee support of this initiative has truly been inspiring to me. So since the inception, we've logged more than 100,000 employee volunteer hours at partner centers for the Grow Up Great initiative. In Virginia, we're honored to partner with the Virginia Early Childhood Foundation for several years, including grants to support a variety of local systems building activities and innovations, and most recently my involvement as a member of their board of directors. Likewise, we're also grateful to the Virginia Chamber of Commerce as it continues to keep the issue of quality early learning childhood education upfront in the form of its Blueprint Virginia 2025 process and advocacy efforts. I'm really proud of, among the recommendations that we saw a moment ago, the notions of improving access to affordable, high quality early childhood education for Virginia's working families, encouraging employer policies and strategies that support access to high quality early learning for families, and protecting the early education workforce by ensuring access to affordable, competency-based credentialing and exploring strategies that value and retain this talent pool. After all, quality early care and education is both a private and a public good. PNC has been for a long time at this work. And yes, we've been able to move the needle, but there's still a great deal that we can do. And I'd ask each of you to join me and my firm in our commitment to this issue and build on the work that's already been done. Become an advocate for creating lifelong learners in the future workforce. We have no idea what the jobs of the future will be, and we have some idea, but little idea, what skills they require. But we know that it's our responsibility to make sure that we are positioning the kids that are born today and the kids that are the age of 5 for success as they begin that journey to become the workforce for tomorrow. Another thing that the private sector can do is make quality early childhood education a philanthropic priority. Even with the growing awareness about the value and the importance of school readiness, private philanthropic dollars still only make up about 2% of early childhood education funding. That's a pretty small slice, but even with a modest increase, business and philanthropic investments can have a catalytic effect. In addition to investing in resources for pre-K programs, business leaders can become vocal champions. Our company's experiences and active engagement in early child care centers with their teachers, their students, and their families have helped us understand that school readiness is not a challenge that any one group or organization can tackle, but it's an issue, and it's also not an issue that we can expect immediate change. It'll take a collaborative and meaningful effort from the broader community, both public, private, and philanthropic, to shift our focus and make this become a true economic development issue. The reality is, it's our collective responsibility to ensure that all children have a strong and equitable start to life. Why? Because healthy children who are ready to learn and succeed are also a public good. A skilled workforce, thriving families, and healthy communities accrue to all of us when we invest in our kids at birth. And all of us, whether we be business leaders, philanthropists, superintendents, educators, community leaders, or policymakers, need to join together and lead the charge for why we're getting it right from the very start with our children. That's our most important responsibility. We need to have our public sector partners think big and think long term. Greater investment and greater innovation mean greater opportunity for Virginia's children. Thank you so much for having me here today.